welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon Reviews. 4 reviews up this week. So we've got a bunch of individual reviews slated. First of which is Pulsor. Pulsor is a gravity well shmup, is about the best I can put it.
It sounds about right.
Because the conceit of Pulsor is, well, you're a ship, you are trapped in the gravity of this black hole, and your job is, well, basically to survive as long as possible. It's one of those games that harkens back to, the golden age of arcade video games. Like, I can pinpoint this one pretty easy. It's a modern day take on Gyrus. Like, granted, Gyrus is a pretty obscure arcade release, but it was basically this idea: you are a ship, you fly around in a circle. It's just in that game you were like lost out near Pluto, and you had to get back to Earth. Had a really good NES conversion as well, but Pulsar, you're just trapped around a dead star, and you've got to deal with all the shit that comes out of said black hole. Clearly, it's not a real black hole because nothing can escape the gravity of a black hole, but that would be very boring, I'm sure. But yeah, anyway, the idea here is you're flying around this black hole, and it's shooting out comets, it's shooting out lasers, asteroids are flying by. Honestly, it's not as hectic as I'm making it out to be. Like,
yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah. I mean, sure, the pace picks up as you play along, but I'm like, at least in my time playing it, it never got manic.
Yeah, I played for a pretty while, and it never really did got particularly chaotic.
Which was curious. I mean, honestly, this is a pretty casual shmup. Like, I mean, may have been made for touch devices originally because it's got an auto fire feature, which once again is, not a bad thing, but that's the kind of thing I usually see on, a smartphone shooter. Because touch screens.
I know there are plenty of shooters that you can keep firing.
No, I mean, you don't hold down the button. It just fires. You can turn that off, but I'm just saying that's more a mainstay of iOS and Android shooters rather than stuff that was built for the PC. But this game doesn't have the feel of a iOS shooter.
Yeah, there's no large icons or anything like that.
Yeah, God, disgustingly huge UIs will always be a fucking tell. Now, that being said, I could see this game working well on a touchscreen since it's just basically moving left and right. Like, even though you can move up and down, like, you can actually move in 4 directions. But I found moving up and down was pretty useless.
So did I.
Not entirely. Like,
I think theoretically you'd orbit faster if you got closer.
Like, in a more complex game, you'd be right. This game is as dead simple as it gets. And mind you, messing around with gravity and arcs and all that stuff is another thing that's as old as the hills. You got games like Lunar Lander out in like the fucking 70s that were messing around with like parabolic arcs and thrust and gravity and all that stuff. So it's the developer's intentions to make a shmup that's as simple as possible here. and I would say it's accomplished. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, that's got trade-offs. As in, this shmup isn't very interesting. It's not bad. It's perfectly playable. It's
Mm-hmm.
just after an hour, I felt done. Like not, just done.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly like, and there's a progression system as well. Like you can buy ships, you can buy power ups, you can buy um, more features to your ship. You get gold in the game that you spend, at the shop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's one of those things where it's not enough to really sustain a lengthy play. Like this is another one of those games where, yeah, I'd play this for 15 minutes, a half an hour, and go off and do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um, Graphically, it's pretty simple as well. Um, you know, very abstracted representations of most things. Like the comets are red, blue. Like the asteroids look actually kind of detailed, which is a bit odd. It's actually a bit jarring compared to the you know minimalistic art aspects of
They
everything
actually
else.
look like medium quality 3D models instead of just abstract glowy things.
Yeah, I mean, not 3D models, but they look like they have a bit of detail on them versus just the pure blue and red comets.
Yeah.
No, you know, it's not a huge clash, but it does stick out, which may have been the point.
Yeah.
That being said, the game looks okay.
Mm-hmm.
The music was there. You know,
I thought it was a little catchy, but yeah, for the most part, it's there.
you know, I mean, this is just one of those games that we review time and again. Like, not so much in terms of its play style or whatever. It's a perfectly average game. It's a perfectly serviceable game that leaves no lasting impression. You know, I bet like this is one of those games when we're gonna look at the year-end awards and going, "What was that again? Oh, right, that. Yeah, that was okay. Next game." Like, I'm not meaning this is not meaning to denigrate it, but um, it it's just how many words for serviceable can I come up with here? It's not bad. Nothing's broken. Everything looks fine. It's just this game has no personality to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, it's functional.
um, and it's not really, like the most interesting thing it's doing is the whole 360-degree circle thing, which honestly isn't all that interesting in and of itself. It's not really doing anything out of the ordinary with the concept either. You know, unfortunate, I suppose, but it is what it is. Anyway, in terms of pricing, this keep in mind when we are recording this batch of reviews, we are coming off the tail end of the Lunar New Year sale on Steam. So, not everything, but a lot is on sale right now. That being said, there's not a lot this game can drop down from because its normal price is 99 cents. I mean, it's on sale right now for 64 cents. I mean, you know, either price, it's one of those, it almost doesn't matter how good the game is.
Well, and the price
Um,
is so low, the payment charges thing from the card holders, it would eat
uh,
most of that.
Probably, like, it's like, this game being fine at $1, sure, buy it. It's like if you're disappointed, you're out. Not even like a cup of coffee, unless you get it from like a medium size from the gas station or whatever. It's like we are talking, super cheap as dirt
Mhm.
prices here. So it's an unenthusiastic, sure, why not? That's just kind of the takeaway from this game. Once again, I don't like being dour on that, but you know, sometimes that happens. Anyway, any other thoughts on Pulsor here?
Really, on my end, it's a game that you can play if you want.
I really don't have much else to add to it. It's all right.
All right then.
I say.
Yeah. All right. So that'll about do it for Pulsar here. Be sure to tune in after the break as we talking about Mochi Mochi Boy for the Nintendo Switch.